Hey guys, Chris here. In this video, we are doing the Norwegian high-speed run. So if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by, but you may not know what the Norwegian high-speed run is. So it is a route over 610 kilometers, so about 381 miles, where the point of this test is to complete that route with the shortest amount of time connected to a charger. At the very end of the video, we're gonna rank this car and compare it to the other EVs we've done this test with, ranking it according to how many minutes it was connected to a charger. And because the route is so long as it is, and this car only has a WLTP rated range of 570 kilometers, but we're going about 60 miles per hour or 96 kilometers an hour in average speed, we're not going to be able to get close to that 570 kilometers. So that means somewhere along the way, we're going to have to stop and charge. So charging strategy, how deep into the charge do we go? What other problems will we encounter today? So it's pretty exciting because we really never know what's going to happen in these tests, even though I've done these tests like 50 times in the past 2 years. So guys, we're almost at 100% now. We're going to disconnect and I'll see you guys on the road. We've been on a road for a little more than 45 minutes, and these are the conditions we've had since we left Oslo. Rain, and yeah, around 3 to 4 degrees Celsius outside. We also do have a crosswind from the east now of about 3 meters per second. We're now heading straight south from Oslo, but once we hit Larvik, we're going to start moving southwest along the coast. And that, crosswind is going to be a little bit of a tailwind of about 3 meters per second. So it's actually going to help us out. But yeah, we could probably use all the help we need because consumption is pretty high. 25.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Not low after 84 kilometers covered. But as you guys can see down there in the right corner, 3.5 degrees Celsius outside. So not the warmest temperature. And also let's take a look at the battery percentage. So we're down to 79%. That means we've used 21%. And also let's collapse this and take a look at our distance to our destination or turnaround point is 220 kilometers. We're going to the train station in Kristiansand, almost all the way south in Norway, and then we're going to turn around there. So 219 kilometers till we get there. And the car's estimating we're going to arrive there with 30% stated charge, which I think is quite accurate. And if we take a look at the calculated range left by the car, it is 342 kilometers. So that means once we hit our turnaround point, we're going to have about 120 kilometers of range left. I think that puts us at around Shell in Tvedestrand at the recharge chargers there. Not optimal because those are only 150 kilowatts and this car charges at a peak speed of like 195 or 200. But I don't know, if we go shorter, we're not going to have, be able to get much charging speed out of that. If we go further, I don't think there are any chargers in the vicinity of our range to utilize that speed. So I think that is our best bet. And I hope Recharge can upgrade those chargers to quicker charging in the future. And also, I have to say this video is sponsored by Recharge, but more on them later on in the video. But that doesn't mean we're going to use Recharge chargers. It just means, they are sponsoring the video. And we also always, do independent chargers along the route. But we also always start at a Recharge charger where we started at, Esso in Billingstadsletta. But okay, we're going to continue on now. We're probably going to have this weather the whole day, but it's fine enough. Though what's not fine is tire noise. Can you hear that, guys? Yeah. This EQS has much more tire noise than I can remember the EQS I drove last year had, the 580. Yes, this is the AMG. Maybe it has bigger wheels, 265 40/21s. And also maybe it has harsher bushings because this car is much more tough to drive than the EQS 580 I drove last year. But I'm going to talk more about that in my review later on this week. But yeah, it's very comfortable and it is relatively quiet. But on some surfaces, there is quite a lot of road noise, more than expected. So that is a little bit weird. But okay, guys, let's continue on now. And I won't talk to you probably before we are in Kristiansand. After sitting through a little bit of traffic, we are now finally in Kristiansand, and that guy in the Ford Kuga just changed lanes without using his blinkers. I mean, come on people, use your turn signal. And also when you turn, signal and change lanes, you have to yield for traffic in that lane. I mean, this may just be in Norway, especially around Eastern Norway. And I know I'm gonna go on a little bit of rant now, but people just change lanes. And then they think that just because they're using their turn signals, they don't have to yield while changing lanes. They'll just like hop in front of you. You're on the left lane, moving faster, and then they have some traffic in front of them. And then they'll just turn signal into your lane, and then just, yeah, you'll have to brake oh yeah, oh my God. That is so annoying. But okay guys, we are now in downtown Kristiansand. And as you guys can see, it is dark. It's 4:04. And yeah, it's almost December now. That means another 3 weeks of getting darker. And then we have the winter solstice. And then it's gonna get a little bit lighter day by day. But okay, we're gonna go and take a left here to go into Kristiansand. And then since we're in the middle of rush hour traffic now, we're not gonna take a right over here into the train station. We're just gonna do a U-turn here, because I know it's just like 100 meters or something, but it's much easier just to do a U-turn. But okay guys, before we do that U-turn, average consumption is now 24.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we've covered 307 kilometers with an average speed of 93 kilometers an hour. And check out the turning circle of this EQS with rear wheel steer. Pretty darn nice. And also let's take a look at the battery percentage. We are at 29% stated charge with 125 kilometers of range left. So let's take a right here, and then we'll head back towards Oslo. And I think we're gonna be able to make it to the recharge chargers in Tvedestrand by the Shell station there. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna start heading back towards Oslo, and we don't have any traffic on our way out of Kristiansand, which is pretty darn nice. But okay guys, we'll see you in about a second. Okay, here we are. This is where we're gonna stop and charge. Exit 67, northeast bound on the E18 motorway, brings us to Shell Tvedestrand, right down this off ramp here. So this station was new, and this section of motorway was new about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's been 2 years already. My God, the time flies. So we're gonna take a right here. And then they have, I think they have like, how many, like 15 or 16 150 kilowatt cam power chargers over here. So average consumption, we can take a look at that in the meantime. 25.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, covered 392 kilometers, and average speed 94 kilometers an hour. So that's a little bit down because we sat maybe like 15 minutes in traffic to get into Kristiansand. You know, I was thinking of maybe just cutting the trip short and just doing a loop to gain those extra kilometers. Let's see, why won't the windshield wipers work? Okay, so we're gonna take a left here, and then we have to take a right here. And then we should have chargers over here. So these on the right side, are any of these 150 kilowatts? Yeah, so that's 100. So we'll just choose the closest one. Usually we go over there, but now we're gonna take one of these chargers here, and we have the port on the right side, rear 3/4 right side. And let's just take a look at the actual, let's go ahead and put it into park. And we are here with 6% battery, and we had really bad weather, like, I don't know, a few minutes ago, but it's calmed down now, so that is pretty darn nice. So we're now connected, and I actually moved the car because we tried the one all the way over there, but when I got to the charger, it said on the screen 100 kilowatt only, even though the label above said 150 kilowatts. So this one says 150 kilowatts on the screen. So let's take a look. Let's turn around the camera. and see how quickly this picks up speed. It was quite quick to initialize. This car seems to be quite quick once you connect to a charger, and the communication is really quick between the car and also the charger. So 38, 39, come on. It's starting to pick up a little bit with the rain outside, so I really want to jump in the car. Yeah, maybe we'll do that just now. Oh no, now it's picking up quickly. 63. It's not the quickest, charging speed to climb this car. 70 kilowatts. I think let's hop inside the car and just check out the speed from within, because what we can take a look at, which I've found with this car, is that it actually has a battery temperature indicator, which is really nice. Hopefully I'm in focus there. So let's turn on the ignition here. Let's flip around the screen. So here we have the charging speed. We're already up to 115 kilowatts. But I'll show you guys, this is really cool. So after digging a little bit in the menu, I found out that this car actually has, there we go, battery temperature. Maybe I have to turn on the actual ignition. There we go. 19 degrees Celsius. So we did navigate to this charger, but the car did not give us any message of preheating. So I don't think we actually preheated. And also there's a temperature there on the front and rear motor. That is really interesting. 56 degrees Celsius on the front motor and 66 degrees Celsius on the rear motor. So this car doesn't have, a dedicated eco mode, but I've set the climate control to eco. First I ran it at 20 degrees Celsius and then at 20.5 degrees Celsius because it was a little bit chilly. And then also I tried to run the heated steering wheel separately, but it is tethered to this button here on this panel. So when you turn on the heated seats, it also heats the steering wheel. I had issues with the voice command because once I was able to just activate the heated steering wheel by itself, but when I got in the car a second time after stopping for a toilet break, the car didn't want to, just give me the heated steering wheel. So I have to activate the seats. But I think that's, a nice way to do it. Instead of running a hot cabin, just keeping the steering wheel heat on if possible. But okay, check this out, guys. 117 kilowatts. Yeah. We're not going to get more speed than that, I think, because of the battery only being 20 degrees Celsius. So that's interesting. I navigated to this charger. It said it was a 150 kilowatt charger in the navigation system. But maybe like the Taycan and Audi e-tron GT, the car won't actually preheat the battery unless you navigate to a charger that is 175 kilowatts or faster. Because when looking at the battery temperature, it is climbing now. So I'm pretty sure that this speed is going to increase. I've seen that a few times charging this car. When I charged it before this test, the battery was only like 15 degrees Celsius. But, after connecting to the charger for a while, the temperature crept up. And at around like 60%, we had a battery about 30 degrees Celsius. And the car was like charging at 150 kilowatts. So that was pretty nice. But okay, guys, I'm not sure how many percent we're gonna go to. Maybe 40, 50, or 60. I'm going to have to calculate that off camera. But I'll see you guys at our stop, at our end stop. And yeah, we'll find out how this car ranks and how well it performs today. We are now back at our starting point, back at Esso in Billingstadsletta, connected to the recharge chargers here, now charging. And before I show you guys, the results and we rank this car, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Recharge. If you don't know, Recharge is the largest provider of charging in the Nordic countries. AC, DC, Lightning, fast charging. They have 4,000 charging points in Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And they're also gonna open chargers in Denmark in the near future. They're completely awesome. So if you wanna find your closest Recharge charger and support the channel, go to the link down below. Now for today's results. So we arrived back here at our starting point with 7% stated charge. So we didn't go too low, no turtle mode, no drama. We don't have to go down to 0% in every car. And if you're new to the channel, you may not know that I have a tendency to, go down to 0% and well past that in these cars when I test them. So we don't have to do that every time. And today was an example of just smooth sailing, no drama, and that is also very nice. So today's consumption, 25.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, pretty high. But this is a huge car, more than 5.2 meters long. It's almost 2.8 tons, including a driver of this car. It's insane how big this car is. So considering the size of this car, the weight of this car, the performance of this car, and today's conditions between 2 and 5 or 6 degrees Celsius and a lot of rain. I mean, at times today, I thought I was gonna drown because the skies just opened up. It was almost like, a flood from the Old Testament, something like that. Kind of crazy, the weather today. So none of that helped today, and considering all of that, not too bad. But okay guys, you are here at the end of the video because you want to know how long we had to charge today. So we charged to 60%, arrived with 7. We could have probably charged to maybe 55%, but again, considering we were headed towards a headwind and also the weather that did clear up the past hour. We actually had dry roads, heading into also, which we always have like in the fall. It's raining in southern Norway, but once we get back to eastern Norway, the weather is fine. Here it's wet. I mean, the last time we didn't even have tendencies for bad weather. But okay guys, we charged today for 31 minutes. 31 minutes. Not the best, not the worst, and everything considered, I don't think it's a bad time at all. So there are a few things that, make the charging time less than ideal. So if you look at the 580-4MATIC we did last year, we did have, better conditions, but a little bit lower temperatures, 27 minutes of charging. I don't remember where we charged in that video. You'll have to go back and see if you're curious. But today, a cold battery did not help us. And even though if we were able to, extract 150 kilowatts from, those chargers, this car should still be able to charge faster. But since the car didn't want to preheat, we probably should have maybe gone to an Ionity 350 kilowatt charger. But everything is so much simpler in hindsight when you're there in the moment. And even me, I'm an experienced, EV traveler at this point. In the past 2 years, I think I've done close to 200,000 kilometers. I'm not kidding, guys. Close to 200,000 kilometers in the past 2 years in electric cars only. I've done the Norwegian high-speed run like 50 or almost 60 times alone, guys. So on that route alone is like 30 or 35,000 kilometers just going back and forth from Oslo to Kristiansand. So I'm pretty experienced, probably more experienced than the average person out there. And even me, it's hard to, always make the best, strategic decisions. Today, would it be better to go shorter, less deep into the battery percentage, charge at the Ionity chargers, but then we had to charge at a higher percent because once the battery was up to temperature, once we disconnected at 60%, we were up to 130 kilowatts, but then we were, deep into the charge, and that charging curve, dips once we go high in the battery percentage. So I know the car may have preheated going to that 350 kilowatt charger, and then we might have gotten, better speed, but that is if, well, there weren't many cars charging there. Last time we stopped there, it was completely full. There was one charging bay vacant. So, I mean, these are never easy decisions, and that's why I do these tests in the real world, because it's not always about the results. Actually, it's seldom about only the results. It's about the experience. It's about showing you guys how you travel long distance with an EV and what you can expect to experience with chargers, charging speed. And now in winter, everything is just, tossed up in the air, and well, we never know what's going to happen. So guys, that's today's results. Not too bad in my opinion, considering this car and the conditions. So I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.